ABBA. June 10, 2019. Preamble by Jean Luc. So we sit calmly, try to remain still, because these are not answers to questions, so there will be no mind. I would like to take this opportunity, since we are waiting to pay tribute from many French people who wrote to me this morning, asking me to express all the gratitude of the French to Louis Guéry for his remarkable work over the past 10 years, since he has held up all the time, faithful to the position, the perfect scribe as I called him last year. So a big thank you to Louis, of course, from you met him, and also from countless French people who sent me messages this morning telling me to express all their gratitude. That's it, so we're going to be able to start, as I said, so we have this first ever channeling, which is not a channeling in fact, it's me closing my eyes, and then we'll have the surprise at 3:30 p.m. Quebec time. There you go. I'm asking you for one more minute of preparation, if you will, and then we'll go. ABBA. In the heart of the one of each one, and in the name of each ABBA, may peace, joy and love, in this moment as in every time, be what you are. May each one receive what he really is, beyond any manifestation, as well as any questioning. And there, in this moment, and in this place, as in every one place, Agape's grace is manifested and revealed. At a time when your last name and first name, and the truth of who you are, who you have been and who you will be, who will never pass away, ignoring the challenges of the illusion of this world, crossing all suffering, as well as all questioning, you're invited to find yourself in the evidence of your presence, in the evidence of your absence. In each of you who is me, as I am you, grace abolishes all distance as well as all time, setting in place the ineffable of the truth that can only be experienced. At this moment, I invite you to lay down your arms, of your form and your head, I invite you to lay down all the manifestations, of whatever conscience, in order to discover your truth, which is each one the same, the grace of Agape, and the evidence that puts an end to all worlds and all forms, where you can only recognize yourself, where you can only rejoice in what you have always been, crossing all worlds, all dimensions, as well as all questions. You're invited, it is your due, it is your right, and it is the only truth, the one that does not require words, the one that does not require demonstration, and whose evidence is such that only the smile on your lips, the tears in your eyes and what happens in the middle of your chest, is the eternal witness. You who have sought, you who have sown, you who have wondered, the time of evidence knocks at your door. You're the key to yourself, you're the door to yourself, and I invite you, with firmness and intelligence, to find yourself entirely, in your entirety, there, at this moment. You who hold everything while being nothing, you're from everywhere, and you're from nowhere. You're space and you're time, you're all form like every world, whatever the appearances of this limited form, whatever you think, you cannot refuse the gift of grace, the gift of your eternity. Thus, by giving yourself, you give to each one with the same intensity and equality, the gift of grace, the gift of great joy, prior to great silence. Because in that, you've never moved. Because in this, and through all illusions as well as all worlds, as well as all suffering, you have been the witness and observer, sometimes involved in what has happened, in what has been lived, in the heart of every dream of creation. Today you have finished with the cycles, and the new cycle is nothing more than the consummation of all that has caused suffering, of all that has been experienced, in this world as in any world, and in any form whatsoever. In this, the evidence of your gratitude leaves no room for doubt, no question, no space for suffering, and it is up to you alone, because love has no condition, because joy has no support, because you were that before being anything else. This other thing that you have been, in this body that you still inhabit today, reveals the ineffable, and that is gratitude, and that is evident. You're invited to be yourself, whatever masks you have borrowed, whatever you may have experienced, in this you're available for yourself, in this the rhythm of life, beyond any cycle, takes you beyond the abode of supreme peace, where even the notion of abode cannot be limited and cannot be restrained. Then I invite you to smile, I invite you to tears, and I especially invite you to the fire of your heart, the one that never, despite appearances, could be extinguished. It could only be compressed, it could only be veiled. But the time of the veils is coming to an end. It is time from now on to find happiness, beatitude and truth, not needing any world, and yet being all the worlds. For it is in you, in the heart of your heart, in the heart of the one that you reveal yourself. It is here, it is now. Don't try to stop, don't try to grasp, there's nothing to understand, there's nothing to question, you just have to recognize yourself, you just have to embrace yourself. All you have to do is let what has always been, and yet was veiled, be what it is. Today is majesty, where the illumination of the intelligence of light illuminates the smallest corners of what may still have been hidden from you, in what you are, in what you have been, and in what you will be, transcending the borders of eternity of a possible infinity, as beyond all finiteness. Joy is the witness, the smile is the expression, and silence is the magnificence. You don't have to do anything, just be there. Where I am you are. And where I am you are going to be, you will be. Then settle down, in the evidence of this silence, beyond all energy and vibration, as well as beyond your consciousness. Where nothing can be defined, or even oriented, but simply tested, and simply accepted. Where there is no effort to be made, where there is nothing to expect, not even to hope for. In this ultimate time of zero time, time and space resolve themselves, in their respective illusions, leaving only naked joy. In this, you are the eternal I, the Absolute, and this can only satisfy you, and it can only be true, for you are the truth. In your name as in my name, and beyond any interpretation, you're invited to the perpetual celebration of grace and joy, where you can no longer ask for anything, because intelligence precedes your request, where nothing can deceive you, because the evidence can only be recognized and can only be lived. Be present to yourself, as I am present to everyone. This will put an end to all differences, all distances, and all illusions. Let yourself be loved by the love that you are, which also makes no difference, between one form and another form, between one history and another history, in one world and another world. Where there is no sense, no direction, because you're all the senses and all the directions. Where you've never moved, that's happiness. Everything else is just passing through, everything else was just a dream. In this truth, you have no need to dream, you have no need to plan, and no reason can prove it to you. So is the celebration of agape, so is the nakedness of truth, so you are complete. Where you no longer have to count, nor to count some time that still goes by in the illusion of this dream. You are both the actor and the spectator of all this, and you have played every role, from the highest to the most humble, in the infinite possibilities of creation. You have dreamed of it all and accomplished it all. So then is in you, the space and time of resolution, the space and time of joy, which cannot be measured, nor counted, where nothing can be added or removed, because everything is perfection, and everything is beauty, beyond all senses, beyond all vision and all understanding. You're invited to recognize yourself, whatever your burdens, whatever your desires, whatever your sufferings. There is the only and ultimate healing, to have adhered to any illusion whatsoever, there is beauty. I invite you to verify it, I invite you to live it, because only you can invite yourself to the celebration of your resurrection in white paradise, prior to the form, and which gives you back memory of what you thought you were going through, of what you thought you endured through this flesh. All you have to do is accept it, all you have to do is embrace yourself, just as I embrace you right now. Then settle down, do not move, close your eyes, and your heart will open to this ineffable truth, which needs no circumstances or conditions. You have always been whole, whatever the lacks, whatever the appearances, and whatever your life. Thus is joined in you the Alpha and Omega at the dream of creation. Thus, you become the way, the truth and the life, for each other of you, wherever it is in this world, as in every world. You discover yourself as a virgin, and before manifestation, as before form. There is fullness, there is certainty that cannot be discussed, that cannot be weighed or considered, but simply needs to be recognized, and you can only recognize yourself, because that is what you are. No speech can hold, no posture can be opposed, for you are what you have sought, and you are what is found, from the moment you no longer put any distance, from the moment you are inserted, in its entirety from here and now, from the eternal present instant, and this happens in an instant, and this happens in this instant. Silence. Listen and hear the song of silence. Listen and hear what the word/verb tells you in you, beyond your breath and beyond any cycle as well as beyond any rhythm. And it is thus, in the silence of the senses, in the silence of the body, that the fire of creation shows you that you are at the origin of all that has been dreamed, all that has been experienced, and all that has been crossed. And this is how you wake up from sleep, and this is how you extract yourself from illusion, without effort and without understanding, with evidence, and with ease. You are loved beyond all measure, you are loved to excess, for love is never counted and never discounted. In what you are, I am. In what I am, you are. In the majesty of the wide paradise, everything is delivered, everything is given. So you're the gift, so you're the forgiveness, so you're the reconciliation, the one that could never be offended, but simply forgotten. Then beloved, the oath and promise have been fulfilled and revealed in you. You bring the good news by your simple presence, by your simple smile, and that is enough to transmute everything into those who still dream, into those who still suffer from the circumstances of this dream. You are the reality beyond all reality, you are love beyond all suffering, it is enough to settle down, where you are, so that I may embrace you, with the same reciprocity where you embrace my words, because they only rhythm the great silence, that of your presence and your absence, where everything is intelligent, where everything is intelligible, and beyond all reason, like all ideas. I invite you to give yourself, without measure and without counting. So is love, so is the gift of grace, so is you are agape. Let me carry you away, to the heart of your heart, right here through this flesh, through this place as well as any place. All you have to do is recognize yourself, all you have to do is accept yourself, in totality and in hellence. Then in the communion of the one heart, the one resolves itself. Thus the cause of causes, which is beyond all causality, is revealed in you, at the heart of zero time. You can only embrace yourself, you can only find yourself, everything else only passes through, and will pass faster and faster, putting an end to the lack, to the suffering, as well as to the dream itself. I cannot convince you of this, but you can convince yourself of it, from the moment you embrace me, from the moment you embrace yourself, from the moment everything is embraced, with the same intensity, with the same regularity. In this, you have nothing to count, in this you have nothing to measure, you have nothing to weigh, you have nothing to take off, nor anything to add, such is the perfection of agape, such is the perfection of the dream story, everything is in everything, and everything is in nothing. For nothing and everything are only the two sides of the same truth, one is manifested and the other was hidden from it. So you decided yourself, before consciousness, and to go through all the dreams in the initial moment, which is nothing more than the final moment, putting an end to the illusion of time, as well as to the illusion of history, thus completing the cycles of dreams and separation. There is no longer room for despair, no longer room for waiting, no longer room for hope, but simply for the present instant, in the eternal instant. Such is agape's present that is conjugated at each time and at each instant. Let your heart life the rhythm of unity, let your heart burn in the fire of naked joy, that's how you seem to emerge from a long sleep. Remember that everything has been only a pretext to lead you to this, where there is no longer any condition, where there is no longer any need for pretext, but simply to be true. Let your heart fill with the joy found again, in this unspeakable love, which cannot reject or exclude anything. Everything is you. There can be no restriction on agape's declamation, no one can be excluded or even evaded. And this is lived from the moment you say yes to this stranger who only wants to be known, who only wants to be lived, within the very dream of this density, where everything has been revealed, where everything has been dreamed. I invite you to the voice of childhood, that of innocence and spontaneity, that which knows neither tomorrow nor the past, virgin of any influence, of any conditioning, of any setting. There is your freedom, and it is your due, and it is the truth. This cannot be discussed, and it cannot be contradicted, you just have to verify it and experience it through this body and this form. You're invited to each of my words, word/verb in action in the heart of your heart. Let yourself be loved, because that is what you are, and it will give you to go through all the obstacles that may remain within the dream. It is now time to live the truth, it is now time to escape the constraint of time and space, by remaining here and now, in the Alpha and Omega, in the common presence, where there is only one heart, where only one consciousness is present, bringing you back to the origin of consciousness, to the mechanism of creation and dream. I repeat, you have lived it all, you have played every role, you have played every form, you have played within every dimension, you have revealed your lines, you have lived its vibrations, you have lived its visions. You have explored the different aspects of consciousness, all this you know perfectly well. You don't need memories, you don't need a future, you just need to be there, and you can't be anywhere but where you are, and you can't be anywhere but in that body you live in. Silence. Where joy knows no reason and no condition. Silence. So settle down in the silence of my words, without asking for anything and without waiting for anything, simply by being there. In what I say, there is nothing to understand, yet there is everything to live for. In what I say now, there is only the I of the word/verb and silence. It is in every direction, it is in every other direction, and it is for everyone. Silence. Everything is complete, so nothing can be missing. Accept it, you can only accept it, you can only verify it, you who are present, here in the heart of your heart, in the heart of the dream, in the heart of each person's heart, because each heart is your heart, despite all appearance, and despite everything you can see, hear or say. Silence. I ask you nothing for me, I ask you nothing for the other, but I ask you everything for you, because everything else is in you, and there is only need for you for everyone to live it. Where you have no other function or mission than to be present yourself, constantly. Whatever your life or your body asks you, agape is the answer, agape is the evident answer, and it is the intelligence of light, running through all time and space, that reveals it to you at this moment. This invitation is valid in every minute, in every look, as well as in every circumstance, which are, I remind you, only pretexts for the memory of the truth, for the memory of the initial instant, where you no longer need to turn around any sun whatsoever, where you do not need to borrow body and form, where you need no frame or any reference. Thus, the smile, tears and fire of your heart can never be limited, can never be hidden, can never be ignored again. Wherever you are, in whatever activity you are in this world, and even in your silence, you carry the good news to the hearts of everyone. There is nothing to dismantle, there is nothing to prove, you just have to be that you have always been, that you are and that you will be. Where time fades, and where spaces merge, in the same place of creation, the heart of the first dream, the heart of the last dream on Eurasia. As it is also revealed to you in your heavens, countless ships of all sizes and dreams come to celebrate with you the joy of the end of the resurrection, the joy of the end of what has passed, thus inviting you to liveness, to the evidence of every word and every look. Whatever the circumstances of your life, you will be life in every circumstance, and that is now. Listen to your heart, what it is saying to you right now, and how it reacts to the essence of my words, ending all your words. Discover this liveness, which cannot be compared to anything in this dream, which cannot be part of any hope, even in your wildest dreams. In this you are complete, in this you are whole. In this there is the totality, in this there is no one, and yet there is the whole dream, all the cycles have been lived, all the cycles have been traveled. You don't have to remember, you don't need to see them, you don't need proof, because you are the proof to yourself, in this perishable body, in this illusory world. You are the agape truth, and this awakens sleepers who dream, and it raises the fire of the resurrection into the fire of your sacred heart. Silence. Listen to the silence, listen to the dance of your heart, and all the hearts among them speak only of you, and all the hearts among them are one heart. In this there will never again be any alternating, nor the slightest cycle to go through. In this you can only give thanks to life, whatever its appearances, whatever the kingdom and whatever the dimensions. Then listen and hear the oath and promise that dance in you. They will never cease, they will always be present. From the moment you recognize yourself, from the moment you accept it, you can only recognize yourself, you can only be acceptance. Silence. I invite you to put everything that may still seem like a burden to you, in front of your heart, and to let the bonfire of it consume it in its entirety, so that nothing more can hinder you, from this world or from yourself, in the awakening you are living. Silence. You alone are the good news, each of you and the whole of creation, as well as the uncreated. You can only smile at it, you can only laugh at it, not to make fun of it, but because it is a great joy. The agape is from everywhere, in the heart of everyone. Whatever you say about it today, whatever you live or not, it has always been written and inscribed in the heart of your heart. Silence. This is the great peace, from the instant you have given yourself to the unknown that you are, from the instant you have given yourself to life, and thus you recognize yourself, long before history, long before the first form, as well as the first frame. All you have to do is live it, all you have to do is appreciate it. In this you will be present, in this you will deliver, around you as far away from you, those who are still sleeping. You're the good news, you join essence to matter, matter to essence, because there is no difference, no distance and no time that passes. Silence. Just be there in this evidence, where you stand, in this time and in this instant. Then the intelligence of light will be revealed in all possible ways, in order to allow you, in the unfolding of life that is yours at this moment, each time to enlighten and reveal all that can still resist, all that can still be opposed. Silence. Listen and hear the oath and the promise, in evidence of silence, in evidence of your presence, presence that comes from absence, presence that is the gift of the instant that is lived. Let me smile in you, let me cry in you, of this ineffable joy lived, of our meeting in the heart of each one of us, in the heart of the one. Let us be there, together, here and now, because we are everyone else, and it could not be otherwise. This marks the end of fragmentation, the end of any nightmare, and the end of any further delay. So it was decreed on that very day by the intelligence of light, because it had been written that way. My words will gradually be spaced out, to give way to the magnificence of silence and to the evidence of who you are, beyond any form as in any form. Silence. Rejoice, that everything has been given to you or taken away from you, it is part of the same revelation, the same awakening. You no longer have anything to justify, you no longer have anything to demonstrate, it is your presence, within this dream, that puts an end to everything that is missing or to any idea of evolution, or to have something to improve on the world stage. Silence. Listen to the silence, it reveals to you the being and not being, inscribed in this flesh, in the blaze of your heart. It is intense, it is clear. And the words move away to give way to your emptiness, to leave all the space to all the times, and to leave time to all the spaces. This is what is at stake in you, in silence and embrace, this is what is experienced, in this instant when you listen to me and hear me. In this way you recognize yourself in your entirety. Silence. Time and space emerged, and in silence, a gape spreads. It has always been there, you have the acuity, it is beyond your perception, it is beyond your vision, it is beyond any framework, as well as beyond any reference. Silence. And a gape becomes palpable. And in the fire of the sacred heart, ever that you are, unfolds from the heart of your heart, reverse every cell of this body, like every aspect of your consciousness, like every part of your unconsciousness, so that nothing is hidden, so that nothing is occulted. Silence. Then a gape set you. I am what you are, I am also what you are not, because nothing can be outside of you, because nothing can be excluded. Then accept the infinite blessing and eternal gratitude of the Vahuya fire. Anahata Eba, Emati Eba, Noha Miskaya. Silence. Where the word verb became flesh, where the word / verb joins silence, everyone is in everyone, everyone is from everywhere, and your heart dances, and your heart burns. So rejoice and smile at life. You're the balm and the consolation. You're the presence and you're the absence. Agape is everywhere. Anahata Eba, Brahmaskaya, Amachi. And I ask you, then, as my words extinguish, to remain so, for the duration you wish, in order to be ever more present, to make agape our own in its entirety. I love you, and I will love you, and the whole creation speaks only of you, loveth the beloved and beloved of love. Silence. And I remain so, and I remain present in your dwelling place of flesh, marked by the fire of love, the one who consumes only what is wind, or vain, what only passes through. Silence. You're the gift of grace, in every heart present. Silence. And my words end at this moment, to give way to the great silence of the blaze of love. Silence. Eba Miskaya, Feham Agape. Silence. Remains so, in the eternal present, remains so, in absolute truth. Remain like this, forever and ever, no matter what you have to lead, in this world as in your dreams, you can never be fooled again. I give thanks for your listening, I give thanks for your embrace, and, above all, I give thanks for your beauty. Anahata Eba. And I say thank you. Through Jean-Luc Young. The Transformations. English translation, LMF.